In this video, we look at 4 negative habits and how they're affecting you and why you should stop doing them in your life. Let's go. We are beings of habits. Most of the things we do, whether it's mental habits, emotional habits, or habits of behavior, create our life. We are, as is often said, the sum total of our habits. And that's good because if we haven't had so many habits and so many automatic routines and things of we're doing, life will be so much more difficult if you have to be consciously aware of every little thing that you're doing all day long. We freaking struggle, let's be honest. Now, unfortunately, not all habits are the same. Not all habits bring the same benefits, and some of them are literally holding us back. And sometimes they're even preventing us from creating the things that we want in our life. And in this video, we look at 4 negative habits that used to really affect my life very negatively, but I also see very often in my clients' lives. And the first one of those habits is a big one, and that is being judgmental, aka criticizing others. You know, having that sense of critic and constantly being on the lookout for something to criticize. It's very difficult to be happy, joyous, carefree, and have peace of mind if you're constantly attacking or criticizing or being judgmental around people or even maybe yourself. Because think about this for a moment. The moment you criticize someone, your energy drops down to that level. It's very difficult to be super happy and criticize other people. It's 2 different states. It doesn't really go well together. But the more we criticize or judge certain type of things, the more we bind ourselves to those things and the more we become like it. Why? Because what we focus on expands. And where we give your energy matters so damn much. Now, very little good come out of being judgmental and critical. And one of the best things you can do is really have like one of those judgment detox. Just like if you go on a freaking diet for food, it's having a diet in your thought and clearing out that mess and really taking a step back and stop being judgmental and instead wishing other people well. Replacing that inner chatter with compliments or just blessing other people, having good thoughts out there. Because the more we judge, the more the things we judge comes to us and we become a magnet for that thing. And this is very likely not something you want. So that's the first negative habit to get rid of. The second one is stop imagining the worst case freaking scenario. God, this is one that's a huge one, and it's one that still happens in my life, but in the past I was doing freaking rampage. I was so good at it. It's when your mind constantly imagines and constantly worries and constantly goes to shit that goes wrong. And this is unhelpful at best. Why? Because oftentimes we imagine things that are so far off that there's just no way it's going to happen. But the only thing that happens is that it makes you worried, it stresses you out, and in that moment, it also greatly affects your perception of the event, but you also make decisions that are not aligned with what you really want, but more aligned with an imaginary action that creates suffering in your life and that doesn't bring you what you want. So imagining the worst case scenario is really using that greatest skill that we have, imagination, and making it something that works so damn well against us. So we have to really cleanse that and discipline our mind and discipline our imagination to not go into worst case scenarios that really have no benefits for us. That's the second negative habit to get rid of. The third one is to stop taking things personally. And I think this is very, very important because often we don't realize that too often we let little things that don't really matter affect us more than we need to. And the reason is because our ego loves to take things personally. Because the ego thinks is the center of the world and everything around it, you know, it's like the sun and everything is gravitating around him. But that's not the truth. People say things, people do things, people look at you in a way that has nothing to do with you. Just like when you walk in the street and you look at people and you're just so absorbed in your thought, it doesn't mean anything about people. Because the truth is, everybody is so damn worried about themselves that they don't really care about what other people are doing, what other people are thinking, and too much about other people. We all want to better our life. We all want to solve our problems. We all want to take care of the things that we think is important right now for us. But the challenge with taking things too personally is that it puts us on the defensive. It makes us worry and wary about other people. We don't trust them too much, even though we can become attackers, because we're always on the lookout. We don't want to feel attacked, so we attack first. And this makes it very difficult for relationship, because above all, relationship, especially the closest one to us, is the one where we need to have the most forgiveness. Because nobody is perfect, we're not perfect, I'm not perfect, and we're bound to mess up, do things, say things that we kind of regret, we didn't mean, or we didn't mean in that way, and things of this nature. So forgiveness is really one of those things that is so important in healthy relationships. So stop taking things personally is the third negative habit to get rid of. And the last one is to stop being your worst inner critic. This is a tough one. It's a tough one because often we don't even notice. We don't even notice the critic that goes on inside our mind. And shockingly often, we would never allow ourselves to be so critical out loud toward another person, but we allow ourselves to beat ourselves up. And it's really difficult, if you have a habit of doing this, to feel like you're the best person in the world, to feel strong and confident about your potential, your ability, to have a healthy self-image, a healthy dose of self-confidence and self-esteem. Because every chance you get, you stop yourself. And so what you're doing is that you're poking your confidence, but you're feeding your insecurities. And this can create then a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-consciousness. But then often what happens is that we project those on other people, and that's when we become, number one, judgmental. So do yourself a favor, and instead of looking for the things that you do wrong, or that you could do better, or that you should have done, or should not have done, look for the good things that you do, the things that you bring in your life, your uniqueness, your quality, things that you can be proud of. And often, when you come to the realization that you don't need any reason to feel worthy, deserving, happy, and proud of yourself, that's the sweet spot. Because we are all unique, amazing individuals that can bring only something unique to the table, because there's nobody else like us. And this is something we really have to embrace. So the fourth habit to let go of is stop being your worst inner critic. So this is for this video, guys. I hope this helps you reflect a little bit and perhaps notice which of those four habits you have in your life right now. And perhaps you'll come to a realization that maybe it's time for you to stop putting some of those habits away and instead create new habits that empower your life. Be well, and I'll see you in my next video.